Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk a bit about bicycle accident cases, which are extremely common in Central Florida. And we'll go over some bike accident statistics in Florida, as well as in Orlando specifically. And then we'll talk about some of the steps you can take after an Orlando bike accident to make sure your rights are protected if you choose to pursue a personal injury claim later on. Then we'll talk a bit about what's involved with pursuing a personal injury claim after a bike accident. So let's get right into it. Getting hit by a car while you're riding a bike is a nightmare. I couldn't think of much worse. However, although it's a shock to you when it happens, it's not at all unusual, especially in Florida. Data from the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles shows that 7,253 total crashes involving bikes and motor vehicles occurred in 2022. And 220 of those were fatal. Also, as a result of those bicycle accidents, there were 6,763 reported injuries. In 2023, there have already been 7,331 bicycle accidents reported, resulting in 192 deaths and 6,896 injuries. Now, that's data from the whole state of Florida. And since this video is about bike accidents in Orlando, let's talk about Orlando bike accident statistics really quick. In Orange County, Florida, there were 444 bicycle accidents in 2022, resulting in 14 fatalities and 415 injuries. In 2023, there have already been 468 bicycle accidents in Orange County alone, resulting in 9 fatalities and 452 injuries. Thus, bicycle accidents are a huge risk in Orlando, Florida. And that's no surprise if you've spent any time driving around the area. So what can you do after a bike accident to protect your right to compensation? Well, first of all, don't say any more than you have to. After an accident, people are embarrassed and they say things that they should not say. Like, oh, I'm sorry, or I should have been paying closer attention. And when you say things like this, it can come back to bite you in the butt later on. Also, after the accident, insurance companies are going to reach out to you and try and get you to give them a recorded statement. And I strongly recommend that you don't give them a recorded statement until you've spoken with a lawyer. Insurance companies use the recorded statement as a chance to get you to say things you shouldn't. Their goal is to pay you as little money as possible. And keep that in mind whenever they ask you for a recorded statement. Also, you need to make sure you get a police report. Call the authorities and do everything you can to get them to come to the scene of the crash and make a report. Because this document will provide some basic facts, like when the accident happened and how the accident happened. Now, if the officer puts you at fault, that's not the end of your claim. Police reports aren't always admissible. In fact, a lot of the times they're not. And we've had lots of great cases where the officer originally placed our client at fault. So don't panic if that happens. The next thing you need to do is go get some medical treatment. Sometimes the adrenaline of getting into an accident can mask the pain from your injuries. So just to be safe, it's a good idea to let a doctor check you out after you get hit by a car. In a bike accident, your body takes a lot of the force from the impact, because you're not protected by metal around you like you would be in any kind of auto-on-auto accident. And so there's a good chance you'll have some serious injuries after you get hit by a car. Additionally, medical records are a great source of information. For example, if you go to your doctor and you explain to your doctor, hey, look, I got hurt because of a bike accident. It happened about an hour and a half ago. It's going to be really difficult for the insurance company to step in and say, hey, you got your injuries from some other way. Which they love to do. They love to say that you got hurt after your accident, completely unrelated, so we don't need to pay you. So that's another reason you need to go get medical treatment. Next, you need to make sure you get the contact information of any witnesses. Witness statements can be extremely valuable in your personal injury claim. However, if you can't find the witness, and if you can't remember their name, you lose the opportunity to use that evidence to your advantage. So, while you have the witness there at the scene, do what you can to get their name and contact information. And that way you can find them later on. Another thing you need to do is take pictures and videos of the accident scene. You've got your phone with you, most likely. and the accident scene will get cleaned up quickly. It's going to change soon after the accident. So you want to capture it in a picture or video as soon as possible. Also, while you have your phone out and while you're taking pictures and video, get some pictures and video of your injuries and the damage to your bike and the other vehicle, if you can get the other vehicle's license plate, any kind of evidence that you think you may need later on, go ahead and capture it while you can, because you'll never have that opportunity again. Finally, don't talk about your accident on social media. Stay off of Facebook and stay off of Instagram and any other platform where you might be tempted to talk about what happened. To be safe, you should just talk about this stuff with your lawyer. Otherwise, whatever you post to the public could come back to haunt you later. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the steps involved with pursuing an injury claim with an attorney after your Orlando bike accident. So first, you're going to have a consultation. And at our office, we are happy to give you a free consultation with an Orlando bike accident attorney. And next, if you decide to pursue a claim, we'll send over an intake form so we can get some basic information from you. And we'll also send over some medical records request forms so that we can send out requests for your medical records. And we'll also send over an engagement agreement, which details our relationship moving forward. After those initial steps, and once you become a client, we'll typically send out a letter of representation to the at-fault driver, as well as an insurance request document and a letter of preservation to anyone that might have any kind of useful evidence. And after that, we'll monitor your medical treatment and periodically request updated medical records. And then once we have a full understanding of the scope of your injuries, and once we have all the documents associated with your medical treatment, and once we have all the evidence we need in the case, we can begin working with the insurance company to negotiate a settlement. If we're successful, you'll get a check and they'll get your signature on a release, which releases them from liability, and it's over. And if we can't get the insurance company to agree to a fair settlement, we may need to file a lawsuit. Now, this kicks off the next phase of the process. Once we file a lawsuit, we will enter into what's called the discovery phase of the lawsuit. And that's where we exchange answers to written questions, which are called interrogatories. And both sides will also provide documents and files in response to the other side's requests. Additionally, in the discovery phase, the attorneys involved will probably want to take depositions. We would want to depose the at-fault driver and maybe some witnesses, and they would want to depose you. Now, once discovery is completed or mostly completed, the parties may proceed to mediation, which is where a third-party neutral with no financial interest in the case works to help both sides come to an agreement so they can avoid trial. If an agreement is reached, they'll probably want you to sign a release in return for a check. If an agreement can't be reached at mediation, which is sometimes called an impasse, the parties will proceed toward trial. Now, just because negotiations aren't successful, and just because the mediation impassed, that doesn't mean you're for sure going to trial. The insurance companies like to hold on to money until the last minute, and a case can settle at any time. And this is where the saying settling on the courthouse steps comes from, and it's not at all uncommon. Now, once the case goes to trial, the decision about whether the driver messed up and how much money you will get will be left in the hands of the jurors. They get to decide what happens. And once they reach a verdict, it's over, unless there's some kind of mistrial or some other procedural issues, in which case the whole trial phase may start over again. But this isn't extremely common. Usually, once the verdict's rendered, it's over. Well, that's it for today. I hope that this video gave you a bit of a better understanding of what it's like to pursue a personal injury claim, especially after an Orlando bike accident. But if you're still sitting there with questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to give you a free legal consultation and talk with you about what happened, and we'll help you however we can. You can find us at the number below in the video description, or you can look us up at www.spetsasbuist.com. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.